McLeod won't be seen tonight, so we can bring you a very special episode of The Gen X Files. Welcome to The Gen X Files. I'm Jim.
I'm Adam.
And today's show is another episode of
For the Stepdads.
Yeah.
Crack open that Schlitz and have a beer with us.
Yes. Or your Olympia. It's a good one too.
Yeah, it's been fun doing the Star Wars month.
Yeah, it's
without
like
doing Star Wars.
a trip down a broken childhood.
A really bad memory lane.
No, I enjoyed all those movies when I watched them as a child. You know, as one does, because they all had something in them that I liked.
Sure.
Even Star Crash had the Harryhausen robots.
Yeah.
And he had the robot that's a cowboy. I liked him too. I mean, he put a indelible mark on me.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I love that character when I was a kid.
Sure. Not so much now. He's not your favorite.
No,
anymore?
yes. I mean, of that movie, yes, he's my favorite.
You like him more than Han Solo, is what you're saying.
No, man, from
Right, you can compare the two characters from different franchises.
Well, there is no
franchises.
comparison from Harrison Ford and the space robot cowboy,
who technically wasn't even in the movie,
and George Papard.
Oh yeah, George Papard. He was great though. He was
great.
But
I mean,
he's definitely not Harrison Ford.
No, he's Hannibal Smith, baby.
Yeah.
But there's a ton of other ones that we didn't. I was also thinking why I have a distaste for Marjo.
Yeah.
Because his name sounds too much like Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh,
like Mongo.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It just, yeah.
I wonder if his full name actually was Marjorie, and they changed it to Marjo.
I think it was his father's name was Martin.
Oh yeah, that's right. That is actually very correct.
His father's name was Joseph.
That is true. It was.
It could have been Jomar, which would have been a cool Star Wars name. Jomar.
Marsif.
Marsif. There you go.
That sounds like a Star Wars character.
Everything does if you put weird. What's your Star Wars name?
Yeah.
But yeah, I would watch any of those movies and then subsequently buy the action figures, like Black Hole.
Oh yeah.
That movie was boring and just not good.
I remember the action figures more than I do the actual movie.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
But it was what's his name? The guy from Jackie Brown.
Robert something?
Yeah.
Robert Paulson. Robert Stack. Robert.
Nope. No.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I love how
everyone out there knows who you're talking about too.
I love how this show just devolves into us two old men trying to figure out names. Remember that guy from The Thing that was on that thing?
Took less than 3 minutes this episode.
Robert Forrester, I believe.
That's it.
His
Forster.
name.
Yeah.
Forster,
I think.
Forster.
Yeah.
Robert.
Not Forrester.
Okay, whatever. He's dead.
Forster.
He's not going to complain.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I went there.
I'm sure he has
It's a
kids.
Stepdad show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure his kids just love the Gen X Files. I hope they do, actually. And your dad was a very talented person.
I've got Mark Forster right here.
I met him, actually.
Oh, yeah?
I went to...
Robert Forster?
Yes.
Okay, not his kid. Okay.
No, I don't know even if he has children. But I was dating a girl at the time who was a tour guide at Universal, and they would get these little perks, and one of the perks was Robert Forster came to give them a talk about, being an actor and breaking into acting. So we got there a little bit late, and so we got in the elevator with him, and
nice.
He was just like the nicest, most down-to-earth dude.
Nice.
The advice he gave these kids was great and totally practical and very humble. And, he talked about how, he thought his career, it was going up and then it went down. He's like, look, man, I'm a journeyman actor. And I've been lucky enough to have breaks, but I've had deep pits and valleys. And that's what, he was very honest about what the business was and just a very genuinely cool guy. And one of those actors that's not like an actor, but loves acting, and that passion of really liking being on sets and working with people in the collaborative effort. That is the kind of actor that I like. The one that's more about the community
right.
of the project rather than I'm going to be a caveman for 3 months. I'm going to poop in the corner, and somebody's going to take care of that because cavemen don't pick up the poops. It's like, don't push your insecurity crap on us, man. Whoever came up. Anyway,
Well, it's good to know that Robert Forster was a nice guy.
Super nice guy.
He was down to earth.
And I have his action figure from from the Black Hole.
Black Hole. Wow. That's cool. Do you recreate your conversation in the elevator with your Black Hole figure?
I, of course, use Han Solo to represent myself because that's the closest approximation to my character.
True. That's true.
But no, I just loved anything fantasy. Yeah, anything like that I was into because I could escape into it. Like I liked worlds that I could jump into and play in and be part of. And it was the same thing with like any of the Harryhausen stuff, any of the Sinbad movies or
for sure.
So I just had an affinity for that kind of thing. Monster movies, anything that was just
Clash of the Titans.
Oh yeah. Godzilla. Monsters. Anything like creature feature, that was my favorite time of day. I'd come home from school and they'd play some stupid monster movie every afternoon at 3:00 but it was just, and that's where you got to see your star crashes and your and these other things. And there was, like I said, there's a million more that we didn't cover.
There is a lot.
But as a kid, it was fun because and I'm not saying that these movies took science fiction very seriously.
No.
But it led to science fiction becoming something that people took seriously, which is to say, like, beforehand, science fiction was the man with no brain, or the two-headed, marine.
There was a lot of B sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
Because it was easy to do. You just had to have some weird conceit and be like, here's the movie. And it didn't matter if the plot actually worked or not.
Let's bring this liver back to life. Oh my God, it has sentience.
Yeah. We are on a planet. It looks just like Earth, but it's not.
And there's always the guy that's like, always really dumb guy that somehow is an astronaut. I guess he's the mechanic. Hey, Charlie, I don't feel too good about this. Oh, this place looks pretty crazy. Shut up, you. We're going to make it just fine. Now grab the ray pistol and let's go on. Put your space boots on and let's go find these Amazon ladies. I don't know. Shut up, you.
Yeah, it was a lot of just bad movies. And so sci-fi for the longest time was not taken seriously. I mean, it until really 2001, which kind of took it to an art house level, which to me, I love that movie, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it almost overcorrected. And then people started thinking it's like, oh, it's snooty, like, I don't get it. Why am I going to go do this? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but also people were too proud to be like, I didn't get it. Of course I got it.
Yes.
Oh, that's the most brilliant movie I've ever seen, of course, yes. It was brilliant, and it did, I mean, it asked a lot of questions that weren't asked before, questions about the dawn of humanity and the dawn of existence, that's pretty heady stuff. Yeah. And so I think you're right. I think we needed that.
Yes, 100%.
To give it some sort of validity. And then you get Star Wars, which kind of bridges the gap between...
Kind of pulled the pendulum back, but in a good way.
Yeah.
And it made it accessible.
It just made a really fun space Western.
Yeah.
Something that was visually unparalleled and unseen before, and just a rollicking fun movie that just captured the zeitgeist of the times.
It definitely was. I distinctly remember Star Wars and its sequels being the movies that I always wished they would show on TV more. And at the time, not understanding how rights worked and all that stuff. But I was like, why isn't this on? And then it would be like before it was released on home video, or at least for me on VHS, which I believe was sometime in like 85 or 86 or something like that, 87. It was it was always just waiting to see if it was going to be on TV. And, having the USA Network be like, yeah, we're going to do Marathon. And it was like, yay.
Yeah. There was a snooty little rich boy in my grade school who claimed that he had a print of Star Wars.
Oh, really?
At his home that he could watch anytime he wanted. So we're like, cool, invite us over. Oh, no, I can't invite the riffraff over this. So I'm highly suspect that he actually had one, but we were also jelly,
Yeah.
even though it probably wasn't true. Maybe it was. He was snotty enough that he would just sit by himself and watch it in his smugness. Son of a bitch.
But everything changed when I believe it wasn't the first time we had purchased it, but when they released the 3 together, and it had I believe it had some extra stuff at the end of each of the movies, at least the ones on VHS. I never had the Laserdiscs or anything.
Laserdisc was the best, and I will say this, to this day, I think the best version of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because it's the original. I mean, yes, you have to flip a disc 6 times because it's like, but if you had one of those multiplayers, I never was lucky enough to have one of those giant disc. But anyway, I think that transfer and that version, it might just be nostalgic because we would always throw on Empire Strikes Back in my apartment. We would have a Super Bowl party every year.
Oh, yeah.
And we would make chili.
Nice.
And so while we prepared for the party, it was always The Empire Strikes Back.
Wow.
So, on Laserdisc.
That's crazy. But it definitely, Star Wars definitely made me love sci-fi. I mean, it's why I started reading sci-fi, and because it was like, oh, this can be fun. You know, like it's super interesting. And really, it did what sci-fi had been doing for decades, at least in print, was telling a story just happens to be set in a sci-fi universe. I mean, allegory was always the most important aspect of sci-fi, to be able to talk about current problems in a different way. And not that I think that Star Wars was trying to tell a big message or anything.
Star Wars was trying to tell an Akira Kurosawa story for an American audience. No, I agree. But I mean, the other changes were it changed the way that we played, because the figures that they released, these little guys, back, you had your big old G.I. Joes, which were hunking, man, or your big Jims, which were about, 2/3 of the size of your G.I. Joes. The big Jims were cool. First of all, Jim, so I love the big Jim, but it had this metal band that you put around its bicep, and if you flex the bicep, it would pop it off because his little bicep would
weird.
Yeah, man, they had some cool toys back then, but they were big. And then they released these little guys with Star Wars, which makes it much more manageable, and you can play with a much bigger group of little dudes and create. It completely changed the way I played because I had access to so many more little dudes and little dudettes that I could, form my adventures with.
Yeah, I definitely played with the Star Wars stuff a lot. I remember kind of vaguely, like, my parents being like, "They'll be worth money someday," and it's like I'm sitting there, pawing with my grubby hands, and it's like, yeah, I'm 6, and I'm like, they're not. I'm gonna destroy these.
I think I kept a Jawa in its packaging.
Oh yeah.
But then I ended up probably ripping it open after a couple of months. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I didn't see the point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way now. It's like I'm not going to get something unless it's specifically like a piece of art that I'm putting up on a wall or on a shelf. Sure, but like it's a toy, like it's supposed to be played with.
Yeah, and you love playing with your toys.
I do. Just like Dark Helmet.
Yeah,
I live out my fantasies.
Pew, pew, pew. That's right, Princess Leia. Come kiss me on the face. Mew mew mew.
Your helmet, it is so round.
Dark Helmet. Well, what are you playing?
I've been playing a lot of Far Cry 6.
Yeah.
Far Cry 6 is good. Not a lot of people playing it anymore.
Well, here's the thing. So, and there's a tip for you gamers out there, all you pre-order Pollies and Paulettes. We usually wait 6 months or so until the game is on sale, like half price.
Yeah.
And they've done all the patches and the bugs, and they've done, like, by the time we got to Far Cry, they added a bunch of crap that wasn't in the original.
Yeah.
Like the transmogrification and all that stuff wasn't in the original, and even the loadouts.
Yeah.
That wasn't in the original. So if you wait a few months, A, you're going to get it for half price, and B, you're going to get it complete. Because it usually takes about 6 or 7 patches these days to get a game to actually do what it's supposed to do. Remember when we just bought a game and put it in and played it? The worst thing you had to do was blow off the dust on your Nintendos, but that's it. But now it's like, oh, there's a 465 gigabyte patch day one. And then, that still doesn't work, so there's going to be another 4. And you have these tiny little storage areas, these tiny little drives
Yeah.
And every patch of 15 to 20 gigs makes this monster game like 150 gigs by the time you get there. And so you can only put 3 games on your thing. That said, now, Far Cry. I've been playing Far Cry 6
Far Cry
too.
6 is great.
I think it's my favorite of the bunch.
I agree.
I think it is. The story is really good. The characters are really good. I think I'm 85% now. I'm pretty close.
Oh, I haven't even looked to see how close I am, but I think I only have a couple story missions left.
Yeah.
And I'm almost done clearing everything. But it's the reason that I am enjoying it, and I think part of it is that because it's a group of rebels essentially overthrowing a dictator.
Yeah, it's basically Star Wars.
It is really awesome.
With Giancarlo Esposito as Darth Vader. But it is really good, and it's beautiful looking. It's like Cuba. Yeah. It's like a fictionalized version of Cuba.
Yeah. It's really great. It makes me a little winsome for the cruise that I went on last December and how I just want to get back to the Caribbean.
Yeah, we joined a band of rebels.
Yeah.
Overthrew that dictator.
Gotta do something.
That was pretty crazy, man.
I can't just stand by.
Far Cry 7, Adam's Revenge. Also been playing, we got a game called The Ascent.
Yeah.
Which is like a 3/4 view. Kind of like a Diablo-style looter-shooter.
Yeah.
Set in a cyberpunk dystopian future.
Does the twin stick thing with the shooting and stuff, and we can play together, which is fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's nice to have. We used to play GTA Online a lot together.
Yeah.
We play a little bit of Far Cry together, but this is something that we can go through the entire. It's like doing an RPG together.
Yeah, and I will say it. I honestly think it might be one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. Like the amount of detail coming from this team of 12 people out of Sweden.
It's insane.
Is crazy.
Yeah, it's beautiful. They used the Unreal Engine, I guess. I don't know if they used
Unreal Engine 4.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, man, have you seen the demos for Unreal Engine 5?
Yeah, there was
It's going to completely change gaming.
Yeah.
It's going to completely change. There's these people that are recreating games in Far Cry in Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah,
like they did Cyberpunk.
Oh yeah,
and it looks
photorealistic.
Pun intended. It looks amazing. They did Red Dead. It looks amazing. It's just
nice.
It's going to be. The thing that's going to be kind of scary about it is they're going to be able to make games that are basically playing movies.
Yeah.
And in Far Cry, it is really creepy how absolutely satisfying, like, sniper headshots and stuff are. I'm not a violent guy. I'm not a gun guy. I love video game guns and I love video game violence. I just, because it's pixels. There's nothing wrong with shooting things that are pretend.
It's fantasy.
Yes.
It's fun. Yeah.
Yes. It's not like a game of like, oh, I'm shooting Republicans. Or, it's not like some sort of, revenge thing. It's just, it's fun to play. It's just
sound effects are so incredibly satisfying.
Yes, the crunch and the pop and
I think it's because it's very cinematic,
Yeah.
and I think that's why. It's because it feels
Visceral.
like you're playing a movie, and it's so visceral. Yeah. Oh my God.
It's really fun. So that's the thing that I'm worried about. It's like, ooh, because there are games like the Sniper series. They go like, really in depth. You see the X-ray of the skull as the bullet pierces and blows the brains out the back of the thing. That's a little excessive. I mean, I love that stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I can't front. I love it, but it's
really fascinating. Yeah.
It is. I get it. I get people being like, "Oh man, how can you enjoy that stuff?" It's just like, I don't know. How can you enjoy what you enjoy?
I'm not taking out into the real world. Like
Yes,
I'm just
a middle-aged
enjoying
man who's another game that I picked up. That's completely opposite of all these is Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, yeah.
Rift Apart, I think it's called.
Rift Apart, yeah.
It's one of the most beautiful games. If you have a PS5 and you want to see what it can do, that's the game. Because there's so much going on screen, and you can just blip between worlds in this, this quantum materializer or whatever we have to find because it's going to ruin every universe because it's another metaverse situation.
Yeah.
But they do it really well, and it's like playing a cartoon and great voice acting, great everything. and it's just like a fun adventure game, and it's very Star Warsy. You know, it's very like, you know, it's a very cartoony sci-fi. You know, you got spaceships and different planets, and you're going after the big bad, and you know, it's you got to fix time, and you know, there's all these different characters that come up, but
in a very Pixar-ish kind of way.
Yeah. I mean, it's not schmaltzy, but it's funny though. It's like it's got that definite like Pixar or DreamWorks sense of humor.
Nice,
you know,
nice.
That it knows what it is. I mean, they've done enough of these that they know how to do it, and they do it really, really well. It's really fun.
And this one was made specifically for the PS5.
I believe so. I don't think that there's a PS4 version. I don't think it could run on the PS4 because of all the.
Oh yeah, there's so much on screen.
It needed the solid state drive to be able to move so fast in between. Because that's the one thing, the biggest reason to get a PS5 over a PS4 is the speed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane how quickly things load. And, you know, I mean, I remember playing GTA Online on the PS4, and it would take like sometimes, you know, 4 or 5 minutes to get online. And now it's like 20, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It takes no time. It looks so great. It looks amazing. But yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's what we're playing.
Yeah. I'm almost done with Far Cry 6, so I'm curious. I don't know what I'm going to pick up next. I mean, I probably should finish Deathloop at some point.
Yeah, because I want to play that.
Yeah,
that's why I'm doing Ratchet and Clank, so I can get that off to you and pressure you to get Deathloop.
Once I finish Far Cry 6, I'll finish Deathloop. Which I got pretty far into it, but they just released a new patch, so I think that there's a bunch of new stuff that's in it.
See?
Again, just wait long enough, and there'll be new free things that happen.
But it's just sad. I mean, it just kind of blows that we're in a state where you can release basically an unfinished game, basically a beta game in some respects.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, it's just weird the way that the industry has become this, where it's like, we're going to get it mostly done, and then don't worry, it'll get done eventually. You can enjoy it, but it will be better once we have everything done.
Well, then delay it, man.
I agree.
I'm all for delays. This crunch time, this is what I think this is what these video game executives don't understand, or the shareholders or whatever, the non-creatives, is that we'll wait. We're a patient group of people, gamers. And we would much rather wait 6 months to get a polished product than you jam it out like Cyberpunk did. Right. And we got to wait a year and a half to have a playable version. You know, that's just, it's not acceptable.
Releasing a game that's unfinished, to me, speaks that they don't have faith in the game and that it's going to do well. And that they're like, well, we'll just get it out and then be done with it. You know, because I'm willing to wait if the game's good. You know, I mean, if it plays well and is fun, but like I don't know if any games have been delayed where it's just been like, oh god, but it's like believe in your product. Like, you've got a good product, like, just, it's fine, we'll wait. At
this point, just stop with the release dates, because you never make them. The one reason why I'm thinking about getting an Xbox in the future is I want to get Starfield. And there's another Bethesda game that's coming out that looks really cool. There's a and then next Skyrim is going to be an exclusive one to that. And I love those games, so I'm going to eventually have to get one,
right?
Because I want to play them. But now I'm glad that Starfield got delayed till 2023, because then I don't care. It's but I will. Hopefully it'll be great, and I'll play it. I have very high hopes for it. But yeah, I think release dates put too much pressure on these companies, and especially on the workers, the guys that have to do the crunch. And this crunch time, for those of you who aren't into games or gaming, the crunch time is this period of time where the programmers have to just bust their asses and work like 20-hour days to get through, for the delivery, to make the game gold, as they say, which is ready to sell. So, but it's very dangerous. It's very unhealthy, and people have died from driving. I mean, this happens in Hollywood too. I mean, people get too tired. You work 20 hours a day, and people can't stay awake. They crash or whatever.
It's unhealthy for sure.
And it's just not. It's not good business, and it's not. You don't want to burn your workers out. The video game business, unfortunately, has got so much turnaround because people get so burnt out. Same thing with like visual effects and stuff.
Oh yeah,
these guys get used like tools,
right?
And it's just they're not machines; they're human beings. There's only so much Red Bull and candy you can drink until your stomach just explodes or your ulcer just starts bleeding everywhere.
It's true. That's true. Again, this is also, I think, why I really like Far Cry 6, because it's about the people. It's about the people coming back, and don't ruin our lives because you want to make money.
Yeah. Yes. It's about the resistance.
Yeah.
And it's got there's so many great cutscenes with Giancarlo Esposito, and the kid that plays his son is really good too. It's just a very Shakespearean kind of
so good. Some of the story twists are just incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
And I yes, the acting is top notch from Giancarlo Esposito. Although I'm very much looking forward to ending him in the game.
Yeah,
I'm assuming we do. I don't know.
Probably. The thing that bums me out about Far Cry is that they do DLC, but it's never in the game.
Yeah.
Like it's always something different, which I think is cool. And
it can be super fun.
Like when they did Blood Dragon.
Blood Dragon was so incredible.
But it's just the DLC for this has nothing to do, because I love the land. I want to continue the adventure there. And there's so many different things to upgrade and different things to find, and I think I've almost found everything, by the way.
Yeah, it's gonna be, I'm pretty close, because it's definitely gonna be a point where it's gonna be like, well, there's just nothing else to do, like you're done with it.
What are you watching?
I just finished watching Miracle Workers, the all 3 seasons, which is a great show.
Yeah, great show with Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi.
With Steve Buscemi and
Daniel Radcliffe.
Buscemi. Buscemi. I don't know why. I love him.
He's Steve Buscemi. He's a shame. Yeah, Steve Buscemi and Daniel Radcliffe.
And that young lady, what's her name? Yeah,
it's long and she's fantastic. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to say it totally wrong. It's like Rana Thathan something.
Yep, that's what it is. But it is an amazing.
Rana Thathan, I think, or something,
so,
or something like that. But she's phenomenal in it, absolutely phenomenal. The dude, especially in the 3rd season, the guy who plays her husband, finally has more to do, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, they have a great cast, and every season is different. The first one is in heaven, and then the second one is in
Dark Ages.
Yeah, and the third one is in the Oregon Trail.
But it's the same stable of actors playing different parts, and they add in new people. Like in the 3rd season, had Quinta Brunson, who has not been in any of the previous seasons.
She was great, but it's kind of like a reincarnation series, basically. It's where these people kind of are. These souls are within their lives. It almost feels like they all kind of went back to Earth or whatever after the first season.
I mean, it could be. Yeah.
There's different ways to look at it, but it's a very unique and fun series.
It's really cool. It's really funny, and it's not. I mean, each episode's just around 20 minutes long, and there's 10 episodes in each season, except for the first, which only has 7. So it's something you could easily binge over a weekend.
Yeah.
But it's fantastic. It's done really well. I'm hoping they do more. The 3rd season of the show had Daniel Radcliffe doing things that I never thought he would ever do on screen.
Yeah, and Our Flag Means Death is another show that's very similar.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
Similar in tone.
Yeah.
And I hope that it comes back for a second season.
It should. I mean, it's been dominating the streaming numbers, so I mean, it should.
It's also another one where you can just kind of binge in a weekend.
Yes, for sure. Or like our friend V, watch 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
Over the course of 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. I mean, it's a great show, and to be honest, I'm considering watching it again.
Yeah.
It has one of the greatest relationship arcs I've ever seen in a show.
Yeah, and Taika Waititi, it's the best thing he's ever done, acting-wise.
We did just start watching the 3rd season of What We Do in the Shadows. We've only watched a couple episodes.
Oh, that's great, too.
Yeah, which is great. We did watch, last weekend, we watched the new Firestarter, which was on Peacock.
Yeah.
Not...
Watch the original. Yeah. It's much more interesting. They took the really interesting parts of at least to me, like the interesting parts were the manipulation of Charlie when she was at the shop.
Yeah.
And the Indian, I'm not sure, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's what they call him in the book. I'm not 100%
Yeah.
sure. But he was played by George C. Scott in the original with a little ponytail to show that he was Native American, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it was she didn't know that he was the one
Right.
that captured her. So they had this relationship.
Right.
It was just, this version was just much more kind of straightforward. There's the bad guy. We don't want to get caught. Now we're going to, it was just a lot of violence and revenge. And
it seemed to be oversimplified for a story that didn't need it.
Yeah.
So it's like
it took out all the fun. It took out all the guts and the interesting things.
if you've never seen the original, I'm sure the movie, it's not great, but I'm sure it's probably passable. But like knowing that there was deeper stuff to it that they just left out for no reason.
It's like Cujo to me. I think it's a really underrated Stephen King movie that if you watch again, you're going to find stuff that's really good and interesting about it. And George C. Scott's great in it, and Keith David or David Keith. I always get those two guys mixed up.
I always I'm like
I think it's David Keith.
I think it's David Keith because I think Keith David is
from
the other
They
guy.
Live.
They Live guy. That's right. I think that's Keith David.
Keith David.
Yeah.
Keith David. I love Keith David.
David Keith is great though, and Drew
That's
Barrymore.
twig and berries. That was. How'd you get the twig over the berry? Yeah, he's.
That's what I was trying to think of. It was in that. Yeah. Something about Mary.
Yes, but both excellent actors.
Yeah.
But
for
yeah,
sure.
check out the original if you want to see. Zac Efron's fine. Everybody's fine.
Yeah, I mean the girl was fine. I don't even know her name.
Just didn't have
she was
any
fine.
guts. It didn't have any.
And the guy who played the quote unquote Indian, he was much better by the end of the movie. Like he had a better arc.
But he didn't get that fun part of being duplicitous that I think really makes the character interesting. They kind of had that in his like, I feel bad. But I don't know. I don't remember a lot that happened, which just to me makes it a forgettable movie.
Yeah, it was definitely the writing. The writing was not great, and
you have such great source material.
There's no excuse for it.
You don't change Stephen King's story.
Yeah,
It's a good story. Read the book. Maybe watch the old one. You don't need to watch.
Definitely read the book. The book is great, and definitely watch the old one. It's much better.
Drew Barrymore's awesome in it.
Yeah.
She's very cute. She burns people to death.
And they didn't actually use special effects. She actually can cause fire to spring up everywhere.
Yeah, which was really problematic in her drinking days.
That's why she drank a lot. She was trying to hide from the fire she was starting all the time.
Yeah, it was very complicated. Now she has a talk show.
Yeah.
No
and now,
fires.
Now she only sets fire to PAs that don't bring her coffee that's hot enough.
That's Ellen.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
No.
And she
Barrymore's
doesn't set
very
them on fire. She just strangles them with her hands.
Yes, and the dances.
Dances.
I was watching the new Kids in the Hall.
Yes, I need to watch that still.
I think I'm a couple episodes in, and it is brilliant. It is so good to see those sons of bitches back.
Yeah.
And they're just as they're not as angry, but they're just as funny, and they are fearless.
Yeah.
Fearless.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's literally the same show. Same opening, but they're old. Yeah. It's like they buried them at the end of the last one, and they dug them up at the beginning of it. I mean, it's just a continuation, and they just do. Nobody does sketch like them. It's just so, and all these characters that you just. Like Paul Bellini is back, the guy with the towel, but he's just old. He looks exactly the same, but his hair's gray, and then these guys just look rough, especially Kevin McDonald, man.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like they pulled him out of some nut house or something and just was like, okay, act. But it's great. It's so great, and they are still so hilarious. And
I had the pleasure of working with 4 of the 5 of them, and I will say, talking about nice guys, they are 4 of the nicest guys I've ever met.
They're Canadian.
All
Canadians are nice.
Yeah, but the Canadian has their fair share of serial killers, so...
Okay, but they're polite. Hey, excuse me.
I'm sorry, I have to cut off your head now.
I'm sorry, I'm stabbing you. But just blame my dad. But sorry.
It was just nice. It was nice to be working with nice people.
Yeah, it always is.
And it was stage stuff. It was like random theater stuff. So it was really nice. I mean, stuff they didn't have to be doing, but they did it because they loved it. They loved performing.
Yeah.
They did a couple of the old sketches and It was great. The Scott Thompson was the only one that wasn't there, and he was supposed to be, and it was going to be the first time all 5 guys appeared on stage together in like 20 years or something. But he apparently missed a flight out of Toronto.
Sounds like him.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't originally in the group.
Oh, really? No,
yeah, they were on some talk show, and I had never really known the origin of these guys, but I guess 2 of them were in the Kids in the Hall, and then 2 of them were in some other comedy group, and then somehow the 4 of them got together, and Scott Thompson was in the audience, and he was like, I really need to be a part of this.
Nice.
So I think he like started throwing fruit or something at them, and which was like, or like, you know, heckling them or something, and it's like somehow he just mushed his way into their lives and forced himself into the group.
So funny. He is so fantastic.
Oh my God. He is. They're all hilarious. They're all in their own way, unique way. So hilarious. And they contend with all the things, you know, like that might not be as acceptable today. But it's just great. It's just great to see them back together. And it's great that they are so sharp and funny.
Yeah.
And the show is worth doing. And I know that they were like, we're not doing this unless it's something that's completely, relevant and perfect.
Sure.
And, so.
I mean, I'm sure their level of perfection with it is the reason they haven't done it in 20 years.
Sure.
You know, I mean, it's or 20 plus years. You know, I mean, there was no reason. And they've all had really good careers since then. But it's awesome to see them coming back.
But yeah, I mean, I'm parsing it out because I don't want to jam through this. Like, I just want to kind of watch a couple episodes every weekend and take my time with this one because it's really good.
It's available on Amazon Prime. If you have Prime, check it out.
Yeah, I also started watching that Bosch Legacy.
Oh, the new one on.
I really like Bosch.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm kind of bummed it's on Freevee.
Yeah,
I don't know why they
renamed
like
themselves.
Amazon put them on their stepchild network of with where we have to watch ads, but it's good. I mean, it's a good continuation of the story if you're a Bosch fans. The cast is back. He's now PI.
Oh, nice.
The Force.
Nice.
His daughter's rookie on the Force now.
Is that the one with Katie Sackhoff? No, I'm thinking of.
No, that's Longmire.
I'm thinking of Longmire. Sorry,
I watched
Wrong
that one.
Old white guy. Yeah.
Man, Longmire did not know what to do with Katie Sackhoff, and then by the end of the show, they made them get together. Like that was something that everybody was wanting. Was this 80-year-old man and Katie Sackhoff to hit the sheets?
That seems odd.
It was so odd because it seemed like throughout the entire show she was kind of like a daughter figure, even though he had a daughter.
Yeah.
But again, they didn't really know what to do with her character. Like, it sucked because she's great.
Right.
And I was really excited that she was in the show. And it's a good show. I enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
But her character was always like, well, let's get her divorced. Let's do that. She got a crush on him, blah, blah, blah. And then they just kind of forced this love affair in the last season. And it's like
so weird.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. God, that makes me want to watch it less.
Yeah, it bummed me out. It just wasn't. It was just kind of gross because I mean, no offense, I'm probably close to his age or whatever, but nobody wants to see some old wrinkly dude rolling around on some young girl, except the old wrinkly dude.
Although technically, Katie Sackhoff is not. She's not very young.
Well, she's in her 30s or 40s.
She's in her 40s.
Well, this guy's in his 60s. And I'm not saying that it's like it's bad or whatever, and love is love. But this is TV, and,
It's weird. It's still weird.
Like,
I mean, especially after, 6 seasons of that not happening?
Yeah, it's not what we were... I think they misjudged what the fans were wanting. We weren't shipping those two together. So, anyway, that was, on the flip side, I've been watching a little bit of that Outer Range.
Outer Range, yeah.
And Josh Brolin, his wife, is played by Lily Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
So very age appropriate.
Nice.
Very and it's so great to see her back.
They're both really great actors, yeah.
And it's a pretty interesting show, too.
Yeah.
And it's a cool kind of moody show. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
And speaking of our 80s favorites, Will Patton. Will Patton.
Yeah.
From
In
the blonde guy.
Apollo 13 and
he's kind of the bad guy.
Oh, really? Okay.
He's a rich guy. Wants to buy land.
God, wasn't he just in something we watched?
I think so.
And I was like, oh my God, it's Will Patton.
Yeah, I love him.
It was the Purge, Forever Purge or whatever.
Purge.
Talk about a franchise that went downhill.
Yeah, I felt
didn't really have too far where to go, but it was not a good movie.
No, I mean, I think they've wrung all they can out of the Purge.
Yeah.
I think it's been milked to death.
Although I've not watched the TV show, so I don't know if the TV show is any good or not.
Oh, I mean,
I don't know if I need to watch 10 hours of the Purge.
The best Purge that I saw was the Rick and Morty version of the Purge. That's my favorite.
Yeah, it was good. I went into the theater. And I saw the new Doctor Strange movie. It was good. It was fun. I mean, I went into it. Phoebe and I went and saw it, and she has not watched any of the TV shows. And I was like, I apologize in advance if the storyline is confusing at all, because it's essentially wrapping up like 2 different TV shows plus a sequel to a movie.
Well, it seems like they'd have to do that in a way that would assume that most of the people wouldn't be watching it.
Yes, and after the movie, she did say, I was never confused. I followed along fine. And she's like, I definitely understood that if you had seen this stuff, you probably would have gotten more out of it. But it was good. I enjoyed it. It was really interesting. It introduces I'm really hoping that they stop with the multiverse stuff soon.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's everything now, though.
Yeah.
Everything. There's like a multiverse Warner Brothers video game coming out, which kind of looks interesting, but it's like Batman fighting Shaggy, and somehow Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, I've got some powers now. Zoinks!
I'm going to throw sandwiches at you.
And Bugs Bunny, it's like...
Yeah, I don't... I mean, in that case, like, it's a fighting game, sure, whatever. But, like, I'm just afraid. Following comics back in the day, DC tried to do this multiversal thing, and then eventually they had to restart everything like 18 times, and it got ridiculous. And then they did the same thing with the movies. They kept trying to make a universe, and it didn't work. And I trust Marvel, and I trust Kevin Feige to be able to handle it properly. But it's already getting to the point where I'm like, it's already getting bloated. And it's like, okay.
I'm also kind of just losing interest, honestly. I mean, it's fine. I'll watch Doctor Strange when it comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't watched Moon Knight yet.
Which hopefully we'll do soon. I would really like to watch it. I've heard good things.
I have no desire to see Morbius.
I don't even really consider that to be... I guess it's part of the universe, but...
Well, it is. I mean, maybe. But it's like... the new Batman movie is part of Universe 43, or some specific DC universe within the multiverse. So, it gives them an excuse to make whatever they want to make, and they could just say, oh, it's part of the multiverse.
Well, yeah.
Thanks, Spider-Man.
This is exactly what the Marvel, the MCU is following what they did in the comics, which the main universe that we saw, the Infinity Saga and all that, was Earth 616, and then everything else is... whatever 3-digit number they want to throw out, and just like, I'm from this place, and I'm from this place, and whatever.
It's kind of a cop-out. I did...
agreed.
I finally watched the Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Oh, yeah.
I rented it.
You even rented it? Wow.
Paid $3.
Whole $3.
I wanted to see it. I really wanted to see it, and I really liked it. It was a cute, fun movie. The kids were great. It was, they didn't even need the guys to come back, but it was fun to see them come back.
Yeah.
And it just was a nice... It was cool that they took it out of the city.
Right.
Put it in the country.
Yeah.
And it gave it a different vibe. And, it had people's sexiest man of the year in it.
Paul Rudd.
My nemesis. Paul Rudd. As Paul Rudd gets older and looks good, I take his age. I'm Paul Rudd's Dorian Gray painting. Yeah. I feel like he's my competition, even though he has no idea who I am. Oh, I'm coming for you, Mr. Rudd. No, he's great. The actress who I'm not too familiar with, who played the mom, she was excellent. The
kids. Did it have kind of a Stranger Things feel to it with the kids?
No.
Because it felt like that's what they were trying to promote with the trailer and stuff.
Kind of, but not really, because the little Egon girl was very much like Egon, the actress. I don't know her name, but she's great. She's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
The little boy who played Podcast, He's a little guy, and he had this mic, and he was podcasting the entire. As we walk into the room, this kid was a revelation. Like, I want to see this.
Nice.
I think I told you this. I want them to make a Goonies movie just so this kid can star in it.
Nice.
Because he's got such. I think he did I think they found him doing red carpet interviews.
Oh, okay. This sounds familiar. Yeah, yeah.
For award shows and stuff. But he's just got the biggest personality, and he is just so good, and just the most instantly likable actor I've seen in the longest time. Yeah,
wow.
like he stole the show from me.
Wow,
and he stole the show from a really great actors like
Finn Wolfhard,
Sword or whatever that kid's name is. Finn Wolfhard. I mean, he's great.
Him? That's in it. Is it Finn Wolfhard? Okay.
Yeah, and it's great because they all kind of have. I like the stories where there's disparate stories that all come together.
Yeah,
that's what I love about Stranger Things. The first season of Stranger Things. There's 4 different quests going on, and they all come together at the end to fight together. And they've all been through enough crap that the beauty of that is they all go through enough crap that there's nobody that's like, I don't believe you.
Right.
We're not going to do this. I'm not going to be a part of this craziness. Because they've all been through the craziness. They're like, let's just do this. And I love that kind of realistic stuff. And then that's kind of the vibe Ghostbusters Afterlife had. It was just a neat little movie that doesn't take away from the franchise, and I think it adds a nice little corner, a nice little story, and it adds the old guys really well, and it's cool to see them. And the little tag at the end is a little bit with I'm not going to spoil it, but it's a little bit with Bill Murray and Sigourney Weaver, and it's
nice.
It's so fun to see. But it's cute. I totally recommend it.
The way you described that is how I felt about the new Matrix movie. I didn't feel like it took away from anything, but it was like, it's fun to be with these characters for a couple hours.
I enjoyed it. I did.
And it's done, and that's fine.
I think it seems to me that Keanu Reeves is having more fun.
Yeah.
In his roles.
Yeah.
There's somebody else too that was talking about how, I forget which actor it is, but he was like, I was so serious about everything, and then he decided, I just want to have fun, and then he's like, I got so much better, and blah blah blah, because it's like, it is supposed to be fun. You're just doing make believe. You're basically kids in costumes. You get to play in it. Well, now you get to play in a big green room. But sometimes you get to play in big sets and stuff and put on costumes, and there's no movie that isn't just pretend and fake. I don't care how serious it is. I don't care, what the subject matter is. There's definitely very powerful movies that affect people's lives and stuff. But what you're doing, you're still just pretending. You're all a bunch of people on a set making believe. I don't care how great you are at crying. You're still pretending.
Yeah.
And I don't mean to, I mean, look, I'm an actor too. I don't mean to discount how powerful and whatever this can be, but let's not take ourselves too seriously.
No. That was when I worked on a TV show, Justice. It was a short-lived TV show on Fox, and I'm sure I probably said this before in previous episodes, but there was a director who every time he worked with us, before they rolled, every time he was like, all right, people, this is not rocket science. We're just making movies.
Yes. And it's the truth. And look, there's a lot of pressure when you have $200 million. I mean, it's like building a skyscraper in 2 months.
Yeah.
And then, that skyscraper is either going to get full tenancy or it's going to get blown up. I can imagine that the pressure of helming something or starring in something that has so much expectation to make $1 billion worldwide.
Oh, yeah.
And if it doesn't make $1 billion, it's a failure. And you're going to be thrown into the podcasting world, and you'll never be able to act again.
Look at the Doctor Strange. It came out, and its opening weekend, it did like $135 million, which is insane.
Yeah.
It's insane for 3 days. The second weekend, it dropped down to like $65 million, and they were starting to call it a flop. And I'm just like, it's already made like $600 million worldwide. What are you talking about?
Well, I remember a time where nobody gave a shit about the box office.
Right.
We didn't read the box office. I blame Entertainment Weekly for this, by the way.
Yeah.
they're the ones who started the whole list of, I don't know if they were the first ones to start it, but it was the first time I paid attention, really.
Yeah.
And it takes away, nobody cared, the business people cared, but the public wasn't like, because a movie would stay in the theater for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
It didn't
forever.
Really, seriously, it was like, that's no joke either.
Yeah,
like a movie could play for like 2 years.
I'm sure Star Wars did.
There's no home video. There was no, So it didn't, you could creep your way up to making your money back.
Yeah.
And nobody, nobody was like, oh, let's go see the new Abbott and Costello movie. I don't know, Rick. Abbott and Costello had only made $35,000. It sounds like it's a failure, a flop. But they're my favorite group. They're my favorite duo. It doesn't matter. Their movie's a flop. It didn't make any money. Let's go see the movie with Gene Harlow. And I mean, it's just stupid. It's like,
if box office predicts how you're going to like a movie, then you're mired way too far in late stage capitalism.
I've always had a problem with people using the word failure when it comes to art.
Yes.
Because I think the act of creating something is the success.
Yeah.
Art is not about commerce. And, if you make a movie and 30 people see it, and one person, it changes their life for the better,
right?
That's what that movie was made for.
Yeah.
Because completing art in itself is the end result.
Yeah.
And if people like it or don't, that's not up to you.
Yeah.
Up to you is to find in your soul what you want to create, what you want to express, what you want to share with the world.
Right.
And if the world is like, I ain't gonna share it.
You're a unique person. No one agrees with you on that.
It doesn't make it a failure. I don't like those terms.
No, I agree. Especially considering how hard it is to get movies made.
Oh
Every single movie that gets released in the theater, there are thousands of movies that never get made or almost get made and then don't. And then it's like, just be happy that you're doing it.
I've helped make several movies that dozens of people have seen,
Yeah.
But I don't regret most of those choices.
No.
I don't look at any of them as failures. None of them.
Right.
I look at all of them as successes because we completed them.
Yeah.
And in some respects, it took us 5 years to finish, and that's not a failure, man. That is dedication to your art. And art is subjective. And how many artists like Jim Thompson or Van Gogh or how many different people found no success while they were alive? They were quote unquote quotey fingers failures.
Yeah.
And then after they die, bing bang boom, these guys, are skyrocket to the top. It's just it's just silly. It's a silly it's just non-artistic people need to find a way. You can't wrap your mind around something creative if you're not a creative person, and you have to kind of judge it in a way that fits into your mental capacity.
Right.
I'm not saying these guys are dummies or anything.
No,
I'm
it's just a different worldview. Yeah.
And when you mix business with art, and you got these executives and these people that are usually not creatives, that's where we get the problem, and that's where we get the failures and the cancellation. Like, so many television shows got canceled. It was a bloodbath.
Oh, yeah.
Keenan's gone. Great show.
Oh, man, that's too bad.
Keenan is the kind of show that, given 2 or 3 seasons, it would be, the Cosby Show. But you know what I mean. Like, back in when the Cosby Show.
But in the best way. Yeah.
Before we all knew what a monster Cosby was. And also, Mr. Mayor, too, got canceled.
Oh, really?
That's
too bad.
A fun, diverse show that, again...
Yeah.
Given 2 or 3 seasons, it could have easily been another 30 Rock or another Off. Just it needs the time.
They used to do that. I mean, the first season of Seinfeld was not very good.
Cheers too.
Yeah,
Cheers took 3 seasons.
Yeah,
before it would crack the top 10.
And even then, after it kind of found its way, it realized that it shouldn't have been about Sam and Diane, and they shook it all up. And the show, by that point the show was doing fine, but it's not. They used to be able, but this is also back in the day when there weren't 1,000 different TV shows available, and there weren't,
But they still would shoot a ton of pilots, and things would get canceled.
Of course.
But certain executives had like pet projects or projects that they could actually see beyond 2 weeks.
Right.
and be like, okay, I see the potential for this. It's a little ahead of its time. It needs to find the audience, the right audience needs to find it, and when they do, it's going to take off like gangbusters. And those are the good guys. Those are the guys that run a successful television station or streaming company or whatever.
Right.
You know, it's the ones that are just like, cut it, cancel. You know,
try this new thing. Cut
all we're going to get rid of all the comedies and we're going to do just reality shows. Yeah, the reality shows are all going to cut all the reality shows. We're going to, you know, it's just like it's whatever is of the time.
Yeah, Hollywood and TV have been doing that for years. I mean, it's evidence from the great rural purge that we talked about previously. But it's not, I mean, it's going to keep happening. So it's find the stuff you like and watch it. Be appreciative of the fact that there was 2 seasons of Mr. Mayor, 3 seasons of Keenan. Like they're there.
They end on cliffhangers that we'll never see. There's so many series that just left me in limbo, and that's why I'm so concerned about Our Flag Means Death, because again, it's like if that's the ending of the show. I was talking to V, and I was like, if that's the ending of the show, it's the saddest ending ever. You know,
it is. God, I hope not.
There was some other show. Good Lord, that what's that animated show? The Conan O'Brien produces?
Final Space.
Final Space. Good. That got canceled, I believe. And the ending of that show makes it the worst ending of any show ever. It's so bleak and horrifying for like a funny, fun show. But it's just that show had a lot of hidden depth.
Oh, yeah.
That was a very complicated, fun show.
Great show.
That's the thing. It's like, it's complicated, fun, and challenging. So, well, let's cancel it. Give us a movie or something. Maybe HBO Max might give us a movie or something. I mean, that's the one. So. The one thing that we have now is a show isn't necessarily dead when it's dead.
Yeah.
A streaming service, like Brooklyn Nine-Nine got picked up like 2 or 3 times, you know. And so it's like, there is hope for certain things. But I doubt that Keenan and the Mr. Mayor is going to be picked up by some streaming service. It's just,
Yeah. Well, speaking of losing hope, we're out of time, and we're going to go into our June Doom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man, we're going to do a little bit of Night of the Comet.
Yeah.
And a little bit of The Golden Child. What was... I want the knife. And then, oh, baby, Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah. It's all about the end of the world in different ways and how it can be averted.
Oh, yeah. Jack Burton here. Your old pal. Driving down the road in my big rig, and I'm going to tell you something. Supernatural is real, and it's coming for you and your old pal Jack. So come join us next week when we're back with June Doom.
I can't think of his name.
We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming. Good times, already in progress.